everyone, it's Jeremy with Quiet Mind Yoga, and today you'll want a block. We're going to do a yin practice for the outer hips. Just one pose, two sides, 5 minutes to each side. So you'll stack your right shin on top of your left shin, ankle over knees. And if you do that and you feel pulling in your right hip and your knee comes up high, just cross the right shin in front of the left. So cross-legged. And then you'll have the block in front of you, about a foot or so at most. Hands, tented fingers, lift the chest, and walk the hands forward. And you'll start to feel a stretch in the outer hips, and that's what we're going for. And then keep lengthening on your inhales and exhaling to fold at the waist till your forehead presses into the block. So if you don't feel a whole lot here, you can go further. If you feel a lot of sensation in the outer hips, stay there. To go further, you'll just lower the block to the next lowest height. One of the keys of this practice is to keep this pressure on the middle of the forehead. That steady pressure may start to release tension in the face, the forehead, allowing the muscles of the face to soften under that pressure. Our bodies tend to relax when they're under physical pressure. That's why compression therapy can be so helpful for autistic children, and it can feel so nurturing and loving just to have a sort of pressure and weight on the body. If you've got more range of motion, you can lower the block again. If your forehead doesn't make contact with the block, just go back up. With these yin practices, we're not going for our deepest stretches ever. We're looking for the quality in the body of letting go. It's a passive practice. There's just enough activation to get us into the poses, to stay aware of sensation in the body, but not enough to create any sort of strain or contractions as we would in more vigorous practice. It's good to be able to do that. It's also good and important to be able to let go. Notice if there's anywhere in the body that's holding tension that can soften. And if you have more range of motion, you can bring the forehead all the way down to the hands. So we're also stretching the back, of course. If you start to feel this more in the back than the outer hips, that might be good. You might want to stay there. Or if you want to increase the intensity a bit, you can always move the shins on top of each other, right shin on top of left, if it wasn't already. More is not always better. So if it feels uncomfortable to increase intensity at some level, for whatever reason today, just go back to a lower intensity version. Again, there's other classes for pushing our edges and increasing intensity. This is for softening and letting go of effort in the body. And that very well might look less advanced or less difficult or challenging than what you may normally be capable of. And we'll start to walk the hands back in and begin to transition to the other side. So you can extend the legs for a moment if you like, and then left shin on top. Or again, if your knee is up high when you do that, don't want to increase any strain on the hip flexors. So shin in front of shin, left shin in front. Hands beside you, lift the chest. Hinge at the waist as you walk the hands forward until the forehead can touch the block. And if it doesn't quite reach, you can use your hands as well and create a little more of a height there. If you have 2 blocks, you could even stack 2 blocks. That's a great way to do this as well. As you stay longer, you might have a little more range of motion available. We live in a culture that really sort of celebrates and rewards being able to push our edges and do more. So it can be very challenging to allow yourself to do less, to enjoy that as much. There's no one to impress, there's nothing to prove. It's just having this relationship with your body where it can engage when it needs to, and it can relax when it needs to, without the aid of medications or drugs or checking out, but consciously relaxing. If something doesn't feel good, adjust. So maintaining stretch and engagement, but the emphasis more on the yin qualities than the yang qualities. So there's some engagement, but mostly we're letting go of effort in the body. The head becomes heavier to the support of the block. And if it starts to hurt your neck at all, you may want to go a little lower with the block. You could also massage the forehead, rocking the head gently side to side. That might feel good. Coming back and forth to that point of pressure at the center of the head, that pressure point that may tend to help you relax the rest of the body. There may even be some tension here in the eyebrows, the forehead, all this little tissue under the skin and the face. So many tiny muscles here that we almost never massage or touch or do much with other than make facial expressions. So it might feel really nice to have that pressure there, kind of massaging all these little fibers. And you can always increase sensation by lowering the block. And we're going to decrease sensation by pressing into the hands and slowly lifting up, coming just to seated for a moment. The hands at the heart, bowing the mind to the heart. Thank you for sharing your practice. Namaste.